Hello, good people of YouTube. Sealord here, and today I'm bringing you guys my Black Friday 2023 Buyer's Guide. Over the weekend, the event went live, and it's here in full force. So what we're going to do in today's video is go through the event, take a look at each part of it, talk about what's up for sale, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I do believe you should spend your hard-earned money on. If you do find this video helpful, informational, or entertaining, please make sure to drop a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe while you're down there. Helps out on the YouTube side of things, appeasing our algorithm, because the algorithm loves to see all those wonderful interactions and such, so doing so makes me greatly appreciate that. So, also too, while you're down there, if you check out the timeline, you'll see that the timeline is chaptered, so you can bounce around between whatever part of the video you want to see. If you just want to see the sequential bundles, the container overview, or the ships I think you should buy, you can go straight to there on the timeline down below. So let's go ahead and jump into it. What is Black Friday for you newer players here? Well, Black Friday is an event that's been going on, I think, for almost 6-7 years now in this game. What Wargaming does is they make black versions of normal premium ships. These black versions are completely the same as the normal version of these premium ships, meaning that there's no statistical difference between either of them. Sometimes with these event ships, Wargaming will, kind of twist them up here and there, but the Black Friday ships are exactly the same. So if you run to Kearsarge B, it's a Kearsarge. There's no difference. It just has the B behind its name, and it has a fancy black camo. You can even remove that black camo and put whatever else you want on it, and no one will be able to tell you're in a Black Friday ship, with the exception of the letter B behind the ship's name. So they're the exact same ships, they're just sold at a discounted price. They're sold at about a 15 to 30% discount depending upon their tier and what exactly they are. I think some of the older ones are mostly 30% off, and the newer ones tend to be 15% off, or depending upon, how popular the ship is according to Wargaming, right? So that's how the event works. You can buy the ships outright in the event, or you can pick up some premium containers and get a chance of getting a certain Black Friday ship. So yeah, that's how the event works. So let's take a look at what's up in the armory. So if you notice at the top, you have a Black Friday 2023 Sequential Bundle. The end goal of this bundle is the Repulse B. Repulse is a pretty decent Tier 6 premium ship. Nothing overly fantastic, but far from terrible, in my opinion. And if you do buy your way through the Sequential Bundle event, you will wind up paying more than the Repulse is actually listed for in the armory right now. But you get a lot of stuff along the way. So you get signal flags, you get 10,000 coal, you get, I think, 12 days of premium time, you get actually a decent amount of Black Friday containers. There are, of course, premium containers and normal containers. Normal containers have a lower chance of dropping Black Friday ships, while the premium containers have a higher chance of dropping Black Friday ships. So just taking a look at just the containers. So you get, in the third chain, you get one standard Black Friday container. In the 6th chain, you get 2 standard Black Friday containers. And then in the 12th chain, you get 6 standard Black Friday containers. And for the premium containers, your first premium container shows up in the 8th chain. And then in the, I believe, yes, the 15th chain, you get 2 more of those premium containers. So you get 3 premium containers in this event. So that right there is like a 4,000 doubloon value, and then that's not including the signal flags you get. You do get some of the red, well, they're not signal flags anymore, of the red economic boosters. You get 12 days of premium time throughout the whole thing, 50,000 free XP, 70,000 elite commander XP, 10,000 coal, 1 million credits, that's a nice credit pickup, and then a more coal container. So yeah, like, you get what you pay for here in the Sequential Bundle, but like, the Repulse isn't, again, a ship I'd necessarily pay more for. If you're kind of strapped for resources and you want to get some premium containers and some Black Friday containers, it's honestly not that bad of a deal, but not one I would necessarily go for out of the gate. If you want the resources and you want to pick up some signals and some boosters, yeah, go for it, in my opinion. Now, the Black Friday containers. Talk about those bad boys. So the premium containers, the ones that you can buy in the event, they give you a 12% chance of dropping one of the Black Friday ships. And again, that's one of them, right? So there's no guarantee you're going to get the one that you want. But you might get one, right? Now, in addition to the Black Friday ships, the other things that they can drop is 2 million credits, 35,000 free XP, 100,000 Elite Commander XP, and then one of the blue economic bonuses. So, 12% chance of getting a ship or one of the other items. And keep in mind, the blue economic bonuses have a 15% drop rate versus the 12% drop rate of the ships. So statistically, you're probably going to get a bunch of blue boosters, and occasionally you'll get a ship, depending upon how much you do buy. Now, these do only cost 1,250 dubs, so yeah, they're not a lot to get, but again, you're not guaranteed to get a ship every roll, right? So you're kind of rolling the dice there. Now, what I would 100% recommend you do is just scroll on down and take a look at the ships for yourself. Now, the ships, yes, obviously they cost more. And yes, obviously, if you do get a container and you do get the ship that you want out of it, that is an amazing deal, right? Really, if you do get a ship out of it, period, all these ships, in my opinion, are really solid. They haven't so far put any, like, absolutely garbage ships in the Black Friday containers. So yeah, like, I think the worst thing you can get out of these containers is like an Asashio B, and that's just my Battleship monkey brain speaking, because it's an Asashio B, it's a Torpedo DD. That's like the opposite of Battleship gameplay, right? So everything else, in my opinion, again, is pretty dang solid. So again, you're not getting any garbage tier premiums out of the containers, but if there's one that you want, my simplest suggestion to you is just buy it outright. Again, these ships are cheaper than their standard premium counterparts. Again, 15 to 30% off depending upon what you are getting. So, yeah, just buy what you want. Now, if you're wondering what should I get if there's not a particular ship that you want, there are 3 ships I would absolutely buy right now. Even if you aren't necessarily there yet with these ships, like you aren't a player of higher tier ships, because these are all higher tier ships. And these ships are the Jean Bar, the tier 9 French battleship, the Alaska, the tier 9 American cruiser, and the Massachusetts, the tier 8 American battleship. Why these 3 ships? Well, these 3 ships are unobtainable right now, meaning that you cannot go into the premium shop and buy the standard version of these ships at all. They are no longer for sale. They only return in this Black Friday event. And these are 3 of the hands down best ships in this game. All these ships are fantastic. I still play them extensively today. I can vouch for their performance in the current meta. These are ships that don't really care about the meta. They're going to do fantastically well no matter what. And the Alaska is a ship that is also quite usable and competitive when tier 9 clan battles or whatever rolls around. She is a fantastic ship for competitive. We're going to go through each one, talk about them for a bit, and why you should definitely buy them. So even if you're like a newer player, if you're planning on playing this game for some time, I would still buy at least one of these ships. I'm not saying buy all 3 right now, because they do return every year. This is something that's been going on again for 6, 7-ish years at the time of recording, so they probably aren't going to change it, right? So just pick one out of the 3 that sounds the most attractive to you. And let's start with the Jean Bar, the tier 9 French battleship. So the Jean Bar is a Richelieu, which is the tier 8 tech line French battleship, up tier to tier 9 and basically supercharged. Her guns are a bit more accurate than the Richelieu. They're still the same 15-inch French guns with their hypervelocity French AP, and she has a couple of tweaks to her. She is, well, the later version of the Richelieu, because the Richelieu served, I think, into the 50s or into the 60s with the French Navy, and obviously they were refitted after World War II. So she has more AA, a different secondary layout, and she has a reload booster for those 8 15-inch French guns. Now, they are both in front of the superstructure. So that is a little bit awkward if you're not used to that. But I mean, you get used to it. But that what that allows you to do is get all of your guns on target with that reload booster. You get some very quick follow-up shots to whatever it is that you're shooting at. So that's very useful when, you know, like a battleship or a cruiser goes broadside. You can pop that reload booster and have, I believe it's a 12-second reload on those 8 15-inch French guns, and that's going to absolutely make whatever it is you're shooting at, that's going to make their day terrible, right? And keep in mind, too, that's also quite usable with HE. So if someone's, you know, bowing to you and they're refusing to move, you shoot one salvo of HE at them, start a fire in their ship, and then they extinguish it. You wait for the damage con to run its course, and then, you know, put 3 more salvos on their ship in 30 seconds with the reload booster. So she's great just by that aspect right there. But add to the fact that she has an engine boost as well, and she's great at, you know, running down a flank and catching the sides of enemy ships. That is absolutely what the French battleship thing is, and the Jean Bar is very good at that. Some of her downsides are the fact that she is a tier 8 ship at tier 9, so she has tier 8 HP, so lower than average HP for, you know, a tier 9 battleship. She does have the French armor scheme, which means she's coded in 32, so HE spammers are going to absolutely ruin your day if you allow them to. And again, with the way that the turrets are placed, you do have to, you know, have some awkwardness when you have to turn around and then you have no turrets in the back of your ship. That can be a little awkward from time to time. But once you get used to kind of the French play style, she's a fantastic ship. And just a little tip here too, even though her guns are all in the front of her ship, don't play it like a tank destroyer in like War of Tanks or War Thunder. Don't do that. Don't sit on an island with your bow into the enemy ships, because again, you're going to get melted down by HE spam, right? So keep on the move and just look for those broadside shots, ruin people's day. Now, the Alaska, the tier 9 American cruiser. By the way, I do have full videos on all these ships on my channel, so if you want a more in-depth look at these ships, you can check out those videos. I'll link them in the description down below. But wait, the Alaska, this thing is crazy. Once you get this thing, it becomes very clear as to why it was removed from the shop. So, she is a large cruiser with 305 millimeter guns. She does get the American super heavy AP on these, you know, large cruiser guns, which means that these guns really, when they do bite, they hit like 15-inch guns, meaning that they have quite a bit of bite to them, and you will be doing pretty darn good damage with these guns. It's not a stretch to say that in most cases with battleships, you will be doing, if, you know, all your shells hit and they all bite and they don't overpin, you can do easily 18, 19, 20k in a broadside salvo to other battleships. Two battleships. And that's without citadeling them, right? The damage this thing can do is crazy with her AP. Now, on top of that, too, she has hydroacoustic search and radar. Yes, she gets both of them. That's awesome. That's a high degree of utility. And it is the American radar that goes out to 10 kilometers and lasts for a hot minute. And then on top of that, too, not to mention, if you look at her, she's a pretty tough little ship. She sits pretty low on the waterline, which means that unlike the Gear and the Siegfried, who, you know, they're standing up out of the water, there's not a lot of side for the enemy shells to hit. You're still going to get hit, of course, right? I'm not saying, you know, it's like an invincibility hack, right? But there's less there for the shells to actually hit. And when they do hit it, you are very well armored. And going back to the guns, you still have more than workable HE, right? So if the enemy ships are angling into you because your AP hurts them, you just switch over to HE and just burn them down. And, well, yeah, this ship's wonderful. She's also pretty dang maneuverable as well, so if you do have to get in there and do some close range fighting, she's more than workable when it comes to that. And this ship is just so freaking good. They had to remove her because she was too popular, according to them. And she really was. Back in the day, the ship was absolutely everywhere at higher tier, and she still is today. And like I said, she's been removed for quite some time, and you still see the standard version of the ship everywhere in Tier 9 randoms. And of course, in Tier 9 ranked, the ship is absolutely one of the top picks. So a really solid pick here, in my opinion, and one that, again, you should definitely buy. And last but most certainly not least, the Tier 8 American battleship, the Massachusetts. So what the Massachusetts is an Alabama that was, during testing, this was one of the Alabamas they were testing out. She's a secondary focused Alabama. She has an improved cooldown time on her improved American heal, and she gets the quick cooldown time on the damage con as well, and the American damage con that runs for 20 seconds, which is great because no fires or floods will get started on your ship during that 20 seconds. And her secondaries, if you build into them, they can go out to 11.5 kilometers. Which means you've got like a gearing and a half on either side of your ship with a great fire rate, nice accuracy. Now they are 127, which they won't really be pinning, much, but the fire chance of these 127s with the reload time will get you plenty of fire started on whatever ship you're focusing your secondaries on. Now her main battery guns are less accurate than the Alabama, but they're the same, 16-inch guns. Like, they're still 16-inch guns, right? And when they do hit, they hit nice and hard. So what you have here is an Alabama that can brawl, that has great secondaries, still has an amazing AA, and she's also pretty dang tough thanks to that quick cooldown time on that heal and her 45% torpedo damage reduction. You can really get in there with the Massachusetts and get work done. Now, something that all these ships have in common is that in order to balance them, Wargaming gave them the gimped ASW aircraft, which means they only have ASW out to 5 kilometers. So that's a little annoying, but given how powerful these ships are, it's like, yeah, I can see why they had to do that, but it doesn't make it any less annoying, right? Now, again, from my experience, it doesn't really ruin these ships. It's just kind of another, submarines are already annoying, right? So it just makes it more annoying to try and deal with them. But yes, if you are running to a lot of submarines, it is a problem that these ships have, so do keep that in mind. But I would still absolutely buy these ships now, because again, after this event ends, they're gone for another year, and well, yeah, if you want to get them, if they sound attractive to you, definitely pick them up right now. That's my recommendation to you guys. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What ships are you trying to get this Black Friday? Let me know that good stuff down there. Hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday and wonderful rest of your week. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.